Well, hey, good morning. It's that thing that happens where the mic levels are off. I'd have to shut down OBS and start it up again. But anyway, yeah, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Blue Gear and Bluecast Morning Show. I'm your host, Adam Blue, 30 plus year video game enthusiast and industry analyst. It is December 12th, 2024. Today's actually day 2 of the Year in Gundam over on Gundam Explained. If you haven't watched it yet, part 1 is on Midnight Hatter's channel. That was a lot of fun. But hey, already in the chat, see Talos Mobius, good morning, good to see you. Sup, Jimkill X and Chris, how's it going all? Yeah, but let's let's get started. What has been going on? What is going on? Let me adjust this just a little bit. I like the Christmas tree being in the shot, but also it blocks, family members walking by, Okay, so what will we start with? What I've been playing is what we're going to start with. And it's actually not too much, but there's some interesting things to talk about. So first of all, the only thing I really played yesterday, actually it's not true, it's something else, but on my computer was the Power Rangers game again. Let's see, I beat episode 2. Defeated Bones, the boss. The game is hard, and it's funny because it reminds me of the G.I. Joe game in that way as well. When we had Shredder's Revenge come out, and then, River City Girls 2, these games, there's a degree of difficulty to them, but these, and maybe I appreciate that difficulty. I don't know. It's just, I feel like, the Ninja Turtles game, Streets of Rage 4, even Double Dragons set kind of a standard of difficulty, but could be mastered by really honing in on understanding the controls. I think the issue with the G.I. Joe game and this Power Ranger game, and I see it in the discussions too, is sometimes you can't rely on the controls. It's sometimes unresponsive. The biggest deal for me is there's the B button to dodge, and you press it consecutively, and sometimes it will work, sometimes it won't. And so I think that's maybe this correlation sometimes people, and myself, you don't understand is the issue of a game sometimes. It's just that the controls aren't responsive. And maybe that's a big part of game development that I don't understand, where sometimes maybe a game feels really good because they're able to make the controls very responsive. And I don't know what that responsiveness is tied down to. Is that frame rate? Is that hit detection? Is that hitboxes? And are they all married together and you have to have that tight? Because Double Dragon Gaiden, super hard game, but I knew I could master it if I just, I got to get this. I know I have to hit the character at this time or do this at this time. With the Power Ranger game, it's like, I don't know if the dodge button's going to work. I'm going to hopefully dodge. So in the Steam discussions, the developers in there saying that they're reading all the feedback. Their first priority is get the online to work for all platforms. So apparently that's not up on all platforms. And then I guess maybe start tweaking. But that's the other thing of why sometimes I wait to play a game when I know it needs an update. It's like with the Star Wars Outlaws, where I waited for that update, and it surely did change the game quite a bit. But it ended up just making it easier. And, there's always, or Star Wars, another Star Wars game, Battlefront 2, when that first came out, it's just the way it worked online, but then after all the updates, all the free skins and all that, it made it a completely different game. Talos, can be all that you mentioned, plus if the game devs add a delay to your attacks like some do. Yeah, and even a delay is okay if it's consistent. It could be a lot on what makes the game feel fluid or clanky. Yeah, and I guess that's true too, but I think even like Dark Souls, for example, that's one where you're starting to do your animation, you gotta wait, there's an animation window. But if the game times it right, the brain can then memorize that, I feel like. But anyway, we'll see what these updates do. In the meantime, I'm still gonna play it and try to beat it by this weekend, because it's funny, I think I'm only making these complaints because this is my type of game in so many ways. Just being a beat 'em up, Love those types of games. And it being Power Rangers, especially the MMPR. That's something from, when I was a kid. It was right on that cusp of me becoming a teenager, I guess. So I was like getting out of that stuff. So it's like I have strong memories of that. Talisman was bringing up GBO2 is good in the matter that it shows you how long you got to wait between equip times, whereas For Honor has you guessing and figuring it out. Oh, yeah. Yeah, see, GBO2 is a good example of a game where it has the slow animations, the hit detection, all that stuff, but it's so consistent that you can easily memorize it. Like, it's the muscle memory, I think. If a game allows you to easily develop a muscle memory, it's doing a good job. Okay, so the other thing I played, very interesting. Just randomly yesterday, while I think it must have been between meetings, because then I was like, I'm going to check some gaming news. And there was a news post about the Gundam Silver Phantom VR game getting an update. And it was a new mode. And I'm like, what? A new mode? And I'm actually going to do a recording of it later and post a video. But they're calling it Arena. And it tries to solve the main complaint of this Gundam game, and it's the fact that it didn't have like a mobile suit mode where you're in a mobile suit fighting. It had the story, which is very well done, very enjoyable, and worth playing or getting for that alone, to be honest. And then there's the extra modes, what is it called? I forget what it's called. Anyway, there's a mode where you use the man, I'm bad with words this morning, but you use the VR controller and you hold it as if it is a Gunpla, and you pull the trigger to like shoot, and then there's a button for your missiles, and you could pick up power-ups. And it's like, it uses the, like, augmented reality, so you're seeing everything around you. Like, I could see my room, and just go around and shoot enemies that are coming at you. And that is actually really fun. It's really well done. And then the other mode was just where you have a shelf of Gunpla that you can pick up from, put it on this little platform, and then you have this door in front of you where you can still see your room and everything, but then you go through the door, and then you're in the hangar that is showing the mobile suit that you put on the platform, and then you can use the little grappling hook to go to specific points and look around. Oh, that's fine. But what they decided to add is an actual mode where you are in the cockpit of a mobile suit. I think you choose from the Delta Kai in the new Gundam. There might be some more, but I think that's it. And so, yeah, how it starts is you choose the mobile suit. You choose what enemy you're going to fight against, so it's really just one, and then you choose what weapon you want to use, either a rifle or a beam saber. So it's very limited, but it's based on the small mobile suit sequences that are in the story mode. That's the main part of the game. So I think this was a way for them to quickly, let's get something out there that is people piloting a mobile suit. And they just took those sections. So it's not even like a full-on, because what you do is you could sit down, which is pretty cool. So you're sitting down. I don't have to stand up, run around. And you hold the two controllers, and you're doing this to fight. And that is my main complaint of the story mode when it came to the action scenes, the gameplay parts where you do this, but you have to pull back to swing your mobile suit, or to swing your beam saber, pull back to recharge. That's the same thing with the gun. You pull forward, then pull back to reload. The left side, you pull forward to pop up a shield. I could complain, but it's like they just added this, and that's actually really nice that they added this in. But all they did was they took the sequences that were kind of the weak part of the story to make it where you're in a mobile suit. I'm surprised they don't just have it where you're just holding the controls and you're pulling the trigger to shoot and then just looking around. I mean, right now, the other games that are on VR that are very popular is the Batman Arkham Shadows, Starship Troopers. The Starship Troopers one's fun if you saw my video on that, where you're just holding the gun and you're walking around and you're shooting the bugs. Like, it's all, what am I trying to say? Free 3D movement. And so again, props that they added this mobile suit arena mode, but it's still lacking, and it's not. It's like a gimmick thing that you do once, and you're like, oh, that's cool. And the controls remind me of the Power Rangers, where just because I'm doing this, sometimes I'll do that and the mobile suit doesn't swing, and I'm like, oh, I messed up. Then I got to do it again, and then pull back to recharge. And I wish I was just like moving the controls and looking around in the world and then shooting. So I don't know. Hopefully they figure all that stuff out. Let's see. Oh, Talos is saying it might be a test run on what they may release later. They do it often, I've noticed, with Gundam games. Yeah, that is a very good point. And that's why, I kind of don't want to hate on it, but I want to kind of critique it. Because if this is the first step, what it's like being inside the cockpit, they've nailed it. Holding the joysticks, they've nailed it. But they need to change what the controls are and give you more movement, since other games have done it. But then again, I always remember, I was saying it was $15. It was at release, but it's actually $17. Which I still think it's worth it, because the story, and I still need to do a deep dive of the story. The story's really good, but that will be on my other channel. Let's see. Let's look at some news. Arma Reforger now available for PS5. So this is cool, because Armed Assault, back when it was like Operation something, it was a different game. Same developer. It's kind of like a more tactical, semi-like first-person shooter. Let's look at this real quick, because I haven't played Arma in forever. I don't even remember the last Operation Flashpoint, I think, was the other game by the developer, and then they started making this Armed Assault, and then they just started calling it Arma, and it's really cool, because it's just like cool tactical. So the one thing that I don't understand is, this is, oh wait, here we go. Our first launch, early access for Xbox Series and PC via Steam. Wow, on May 17, 2022. So it came out a long time ago. Interesting that they're now putting it on PS5, which could mean that the game does well and it's popular. I might just add this to my wish list just in case, because I'm down for a nice tactical FPS. After playing Delta Force is a little too, and it's reminding me, and I was saying it reminds me of Battlefield, but maybe that's the problem. Maybe I've gotten over those more easier sort of trying to be tactical games. If I would just want to play a first-person shooter, I might as well just go to Call of Duty. And there was another game I was playing recently. I want to say it might have been like an Italian or something first-person shooter that was pretty good. I don't know. There's so many, but I need a good first-person shooter in my life. It's been tough finding a good one, a new good one. Anyway, it's now available on PS5. So there you go. Okay, Sony has confirmed their intent to acquire Kadokawa Group, and in fact, I read somewhere that. Here we go. Kadokawa employees are happy about Sony acquisition. The interview also included comments from veteran Kadokawa employee who revealed that other employees are happy about Sony's acquisition as they are dissatisfied with the Natsuno administration. The veteran added that the other employees hoped President Natsuno's employment would be terminated once Sony acquired the company. So, that's the interesting thing where there's redundancies. Since this is sort of... Sony does have some anime and some other crossover, but I wonder how much the crossover is mainly going to be administration that they let go. Always it's sad when people have to lose their jobs, but hopefully this is a neat thing. The From Software parent company recently confirmed 20 upcoming console games. And you know what? I think that's good for Sony. I just like with Microsoft getting Activision, I want Sony to get something cool. I'm down with that. Okay, early images of Bend Studios' potential next game reveal a brand new live service IP. So one thing I've heard, and I don't know if this is true, so there's that Days Gone game that was on PlayStation 4. I think it got a PS5 update, and then on PC, apparently, I don't know if this is true, but it's getting a new remaster, but in Unreal Engine 5. I don't know. I don't remember where I heard that. But anyway, here's a picture of something. Okay, they revealed that Ben's studio appears to be working on, or has worked on, some live service military shooter. So it is possible this is something that might have been canceled. You know, when Sony went and canceled a bunch of stuff. I like the look of that, but who knows how it will play. Although I think what helps is when games don't look like Fortnite, Concord, when they're, you know, I think that may be another issue. Like, have a game look unique. And I know that Fortnite look did look unique. I think World of Warcraft or Blizzard kind of put forth the kind of Disneyfying of character models in video games. And I think that just had to do with the reduced polygon count, easier to develop. And it's pretty pleasing on a mainstream level. But I do appreciate things that not only have a realistic look, but are just not pulling Unreal 5 assets. They kind of look like, Outcast. Yeah, the game that I played recently, the open world game, low budget game, but it's able to have a very interesting and unique look to it. So, yeah, Tetris from NES and the Tetris Deluxe on Game Boy Color are now on Switch Online. Those are games that I played a heck of a ton of. I probably played more Tetris on Game Boy than NES. But then I played a lot of Tetris DX. Because I remember when I got a Game Boy Color, that was... I remember that sort of vividly because when did that come out? Let me see. Game Boy Color release date. That was 1998. So, October of 1998. So, was that high school, freshman in high school? Yeah, so this was at the age where, like, I felt ownership in the console stuff I had, and I remember, playing Tetris DX, Super Mario Brothers DX. I thought was amazing because even though it was just the NES Mario, it was just amazing to play it pixel perfect on the Game Boy Color. And then there was what was the other? It was a Zelda game. I think Link's Awakening DX. Yeah, that's it. Where I love Link's Awakening, and then they made, that newer version that had the color. It was like a graveyard with colored tombstones or something. I forget. And I even got that remaster on Switch and didn't really get too far into it. I need to play that more. And there was Motocross, although this was just, I think, or was it? Okay, so Motocross Maniacs, was it called? GBC, let me put that. Okay, so maybe it wasn't on Game Boy Color, but this game, Motocross Maniacs, that I think they released on Switch, amazing game. Amazing game. It came out in 1990. But I want to say there was, Motocross Maniacs 2. Okay, so yeah, then I did get the sequel on Game Boy Color. Oh man, just looking at this. So this was a ton of fun because, it was just, it was simple, right? It's a racing game, but every place you went, you really had to think about how you're navigating. And then it had a thing where you could build your own tracks, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah, great time there. Great time. So so anyway, I think those are on Switch, but really this is for the Tetris games. Game Boy Color stuff, That was a good time. Let's see. The Epic Games Store will give away 16 free games over Christmas. Oh my God, these ads are insane. The ads take over the websites. It almost makes me feel like these websites shouldn't even exist then. I don't know. Okay, so beginning on December 19th, a mystery free game will be given away each day for 15 consecutive days. They will be available to claim for just 24 hours. Excluding the last one will be free from January 2nd to 9th. I remember this from last year. The Epic Games Store is currently giving away Lego Star Wars, The Skywalker Saga, and Bus Simulator 21 Next Stop. You know what? On Xbox, I bought and played through the Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga, and I don't remember anything about it. it was such a. There's so much I could go back and be doing though. And that's kind of one of those fun games. I get to a point sometimes where I feel like there's so much fun I could have with so many different games, but there's so many other games to play. And I think the ultimate freedom that I think the first thing that I realized with playing video games is I don't need to beat every game I play. Like even Black Myth Wukong, I got a little over halfway through. There was other games I wanted to play. I felt like I got out of Black Myth Wukong what I wanted, and I really liked the game. I think it's an amazing game. But I moved on. I want to figure out a way where I can easily know, okay, this is what I need to play next. And this is more of when I'm not playing anything. Like right now, I'm playing Indiana Jones, Power Rangers. Who knows? Maybe I might stop playing those. But if there was a secret way where I could be like, yes, I need to play this and play through it. And getting 25 free games is not going to help. Or is it 25? How many? 16, sorry. 16 free games. Oh, wait, but Amazon is offering Prime subscribers over 25 PC games at no extra charge in December. You know what? I grabbed these already, I think. Yeah, so that's on Amazon if you want to grab those. And it's not like I'm going to play them. I'm just grabbing them because they're free. It's like maybe one day I want to go back to Star Wars Bounty Hunter. I keep telling myself that, and I have other games to play. Isn't it wild that it works like that? All right. Gaming leaks and rumors. Let's see. Mafia Old Country trailer plus release in summer 2025. YouTube showed an ad for Mafia Old Country in advance, showing part of the trailer as well as release period. So I'm really interested in how this game turns out, just because I think either it's going to be the same old open world type thing, and that's fine, and that works, or it might try to do some new interesting things. That's what would get me to play. I think I've dabbled in the Mafia games early parts and never really played through them all. Let's see. From Jim Kill Xavier, though, I do feel somewhat guilty when I don't play them to the end if they're good. Yeah, that can happen. There's some games, and I think that is more of a sacred sort of relationship that I think is okay. If there's this guilt associated with it, it's more of, I need to see this journey through to the end. And I think it's then, once you're done, you feel really good, like, I've completed that. That happened with, what was it called? A really amazing game called Immortals Rise of Phoenix or something like that. It looked like Breath of the Wild. It was Greek. I played through the whole thing until the end, and then I don't know why I stopped. And then, like, I don't know, a year or two later, it was on Game Pass, and I was able to carry over all my progress from PC. Or vice versa. No, it was on PS5, and I was able to carry my progress over to PC. And then I beat it, and it felt so good. It was like, yes. I think the other one, but to a lesser degree, is Armored Core. I got to the very end. I got to maybe the boss before the last boss, and I remember when I would go to play, it's like, okay, it's time to sit down and beat Armored Core 6. I'd be like, I don't want to play. And I still feel that way. But it's like I'm at the end, so I could just finish it. Yeah, who knows? Let's see. Former Apple employee says he heard about Half-Life 3 potentially being revealed at the Game Awards tomorrow. So it's interesting how much we hear this and how really my default's like, no, there's not going to be a Half-Life 3. But there's been a lot of more interesting things going on, and especially, hear me out with this. We got the Steam Deck. There's the rumor, there's all this new hardware that they're coming out with. I could see themselves trying to position new hardware with an exclusive game. Exclusive meaning it's not going to be on Xbox or PlayStation or Switch, which would be weird, right? I mean, they could get away with a game just being on Steam. I wonder. See, anyway, they have the new hardware, so it's like, do they do that? Because apparently the new hardware is some new controllers. Why new controllers? Because there's going to be a new set-top box, potentially, and I don't know if it's like, do people need a new console, or is it where you're streaming, a streaming box? But do people need a streaming box when there's apps? So all this stuff is up in the air. I'm really interested to see what they do because I feel like they already kind of revolutionized mobile PC gaming in a way with the Stream Deck. So I would feel like their next move would be something revolutionary and more than just, I don't know. We'll see. We will see. So this is pretty cool. Another switch to accessory manufacturer leak. This actually gives us even closer view of what the Switch 2 will look like. And again, I love how much it just looks like a Switch. But the idea here is it's just a little bit bigger. You get the bigger analog sticks, which even on there, they look a little bigger. It looks like a more traditional, and I could be wrong, could be the angle, but a more traditional looking D-pad. Is there more screens? Oh, here we go. No, that's just buttons. But it has the arrows. I don't like the D-pad. They do it like that. They do like that, but I think they do it because the idea is you take off the controller and then there's, you know, buttons to press. I got to say, very rarely in our household did we play multiplayer games with Joy-Cons turned to the side. We would, I think we, maybe early on, but then we ended up just buying, you know, separate controllers for everyone just because it's uncomfortable. But, so what we're looking at is a silicone case. So you can see that there's probably a little layer above it. But yeah, even the back there. Yeah, and that was so fun. I remember, I think JamKillX pointed out that the buttons on the back were probably to release the Joy-Con, but I was hoping that was like the extra back buttons. I was like, they're finally doing it. But no, that, yeah, it makes more sense. Yeah, and USB-C bottom and top. But anyway, part of this too is it almost doesn't matter what the Joy-Cons are. Because I think for a lot of us that really want that more power out of a Nintendo console, we're going to have it plugged in. You're probably going to get more power out of it for the GPU, NVIDIA GPU, potentially. So, and then, yeah, more speculation about Half-Life 3 being shown at the Game Awards. So, yeah, that'll be exciting. Okay. Call of Duty 2026, Infinity Ward's next game, is rumored to be a Modern Warfare game with omni movement, wall running, and a majority of remastered maps from Modern Warfare 3 of 2011. So, interesting, because I remember this last Modern Warfare 3, the big thing was the Modern Warfare 2 maps. So, yeah, I don't know. I kind of don't care because I wasn't really playing much Black Ops 6. And I keep telling my youngest, hey, let's play, and then I even forget, he forgets. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's an example of I've played enough Call of Duty consecutively where I'll probably take this little break. Because the last time I took a break, I think was the Modern Warfare 3 in 2011. If I remember correctly, because I think I had to go back later just to play the campaign, and I like forced myself through it. And didn't really, maybe I played a little multiplayer, because I do remember one map being pretty neat. All right, according to Jason Schreier, Wonder Woman and Star Wars Eclipse only entered development after their announcements. Huh. That's kind of weird, but okay. Let's see. Others coming to me behind the scenes to tell me they're all hearing South of Midnight won't be at the Game Awards. Okay, I don't know if that's a big deal. Jeff Grubb, everyone I talk to sure is buzzing about TGA announcements. But I guess that's how it goes. Shinobi says you should stay awake to see this year's Game Awards. You know, I'm starting to think every year that people are completely hyping it up, and then it's like, okay. And Switch 2 definitely not at the event. Now, I will be, and honestly, I didn't think about this ahead of time, but I'll have the Gundam explained, the Year in Gundam 2024 Part 2 that's actually going to be happening during the Game Awards. So I'll probably catch up on the news for Friday morning's Blue Gamer Bluecast morning show. So that'll be a good way to get a recap and my thoughts. But yeah, that seems to be better. I think the main thing here is what's going to be happening with the Game Awards. I'm really excited about it. Let's see what you guys. Oh, talking about Half-Life 2 Episode 3 was halfway done when it got shelved. Also, if Half-Life 3 was coming, then the trailer would have been leaked way before the VGA. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's some times where things get announced that we're like, how did they keep that secret? We'll see. We will see. So, okay, I just saw something else on here, but yeah, anyway, yeah, that's it for today's episode. Yeah, tomorrow expect me to go over all of the TGA announcements. That should be fun. And if you're not watching the TGAs, you can watch part 2 of the Year in Gundam on the Gundam Explained show. If you haven't, check out part 1 on Midnight Hatter's channel. So I'm going to get out of here, head to work, but we will talk later. See y'all.